Is Terrapin Mountain. We're not quite at the top, it's about 3,500 feet, something like that. We're about 2,800 and something feet. Paul and I have just stopped off on the side of the road and there's this terrific vista. It's absolutely spellbound, or even spellbinding, or spell whatever. I'm dumbstruck. It's gorgeous. We've been driving for flipping miles and miles, spiralling and spiralling up the mountain, and never seems to stop. We just keep going up and up through trees and trees, and every now and again we come to a point where you get a break in the trees and you just get this enormous meandering view that goes on for I don't know what, 50, 100 miles possibly, right into the vast, vast blue yonder. It's wonderful. Paul's over there fallen backwards with awe and wonderment. I'm going to have to put a bucket of water over him. Oh, you're right. Boy, this is high. This is about 3,500 feet above sea level. And down there, about 2,700 feet, is Arnold Valley. It's just, well, it's just a huge valley. It's just magnificent. It just goes on. It's trees and trees. It's undulating hills. It's more sort of mountains, mini mountains. But there is like a little patchwork of small areas, well, say small, they're probably quite big when you're down there, and of sort of grass, and a few little settlements of some description, so little towns or whatever. And they're down there. There's a kind of a sort of a smoky haze, a bluey haze. Well, it's what it looks like with my dark glasses on. I've no idea what it really looks like, but it's fabulous. Another beautiful sunny day. Paul and I we're just agog. That's the only way you can describe it. We are agog with the wonder of being up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains on the Parkway Drive as it goes through these mountains. And we're still not at the top. That's the thing. And you can hear it echo all around. Hello! Hello! What can I say? Well, we're actually in a boat. We're in a little pontoon boat. And we just stopped. We saw this as we went across the bridge and we thought, I wonder how much it costs to hire a boat. Silly not to. And so that's what we've done. Smith Mountain Lake. Yee-haw! I'm in control of the boat! Easy to drive?
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Got to get used to it. When you get the wake, when the speedboats go by, that's the only thing. Yeah,
It's easy. This is really one of the first times that we can say on the trip that we can kind of just get out from everybody and completely and totally relax. I certainly didn't think when we started this journey that we would be up in the Blue Ridge Mountains in the area, or just a little way away here in Virginia, on an American lake. Absolutely wonderful. This isn't really a holiday, this is work. There's a big boat coming just behind us. We're in downtown South Boston, Virginia. It's, I think it must be Wednesday the 16th of May 2006. And Paul's gathering some photos. We came into South Boston and actually, to be honest, we went up one road and it just seemed very empty and deserted and almost as if there was nothing here. And then we came back on this one-way system and suddenly we were going through what must have been the old main road and or the high street, and we've come across some very interesting old properties. It's very nice. We're crossing the Chesapeake Bridge, this incredible piece of engineering to put a bridge which goes from the Virginia Beach part of Virginia to the Maryland part, although Virginia has a little tip, I believe. And we're just crossing right now. It's quite bizarre because it's just ocean either side. It is a weird sort of sight, really. It's like being on a ferry to the Isle of Wight, but with a giant road.
It is very much like that, man. It's, I can't believe that we're so near the actual sort of surface of the water. Usually you imagine most of our bridges are very high up.
Yes, it's almost like we're skimming across the water.
But this is to obviously let the... our bridges are higher to let the ships... But now we're going to go down into the tunnel. It rained the other side.
We've come to Furnace Town in Maryland. Not 100% sure what's here, but it's marked on the map with a red dot. So, Paul and I, we're going to have a little look. After we've taken a few pictures.
Explore your Chesapeake.
Ah, yes, the Chesapeake Bay.
So this is a Nassawango Creek Preserve.
Yeah, pardon?
Nassawango Creek Preserve.
Huh.
And what about here? Pocomoke City. That's where we branched off. Through Snow Hill and then into Furnace Town. And I presume that's the furnace there.
Back among the trees of the Pocomoke forest stands a tall structure made of brick. The structure is what remains of an iron furnace. The furnace stack has been dormant since 1850, but between the years of 1831 and 1850, it was the centre of a small bustling town, thriving in the early iron industry. The furnace, situated near Snow Hill, Maryland, was an important part of the industrial age because of its contribution to technology of the time. The furnace, called the Nassawango or the Naziongo furnace, was erected at the site of a grist and sawmill on 2,000 acres of land on the Nassawango Creek. The land was formerly owned by Elijah Colborne and was offered for sale specifically for the iron contained in its soil. It was purchased by the Maryland Iron Company, which had been formed in 1828. The new owners completed the construction of the furnace stack by the spring of 1832, only a few months after their purchase. Upon the completion, the Maryland Iron Company purchased an additional 5,000 acres of land surrounding the original holding and began the manufacture of iron. The furnace was designed to smelt bog ore, which was gathered from the huge beds in the swampy soil along the Nassawango Creek. Every 24 hours, 3 tons of the ore was loaded or charged into the top of the 35 feet tall furnace stack. 300 bushels of charcoal were used to heat and melt the ore, and oyster shells were added to act as flux.
This, I believe, is the actual furnace. And we're going to take a little look up here. This is where they made all the pig iron. Or they extracted the iron from the ground. Would have taken, I suppose, delivered all the iron up this ramp and then shoved it in the furnace to turn it into iron bars.
Enormous bellows powered by water wheels maintained the heat of the fire burning within the furnace. At intervals during each 24-hour period of firing, a lower tap at the base of the furnace was opened and the molten iron was allowed to flow into moulds set into the floor of the casting house. The moulds were called sows and pigs because of their shape. The main channel joined the smaller, perpendicular channels, resembling a sow feeding her pigs, which led to the term pig iron and was used to refer to the hardened, unrefined metal. The pigs, measuring approximately 2 feet in length, were then taken to Baltimore and Philadelphia to be used in industry there, as well as in other parts of America. Using the English system, as it was called, the Nassawango furnace was able to produce several hundred tons of pig iron each year, and because of the labour involved, a small village of furnace workers involved from the tiny shacks huddled around the tall brick stack. Workers were supplied with shovels and axes and laboured in clothes of cheap domestic cloth. At the company store they could purchase such staples as sugar, coffee and flour. They supplemented their simple diet with the produce from small gardens in the little town. By 1850, the furnace employed only 10 men and produced only 400 tons of pig iron annually. The manufacture of iron was more economical in other parts of the state, and the furnace failed, and the owners were forced to sell it. Thereafter, the furnace changed hands many times, but was never again charged and fired. The production of iron ceased, and Furnace Hill became a ghost town. The furnace stack deteriorated and fell into ruin. The canal, which once turned the water wheel and pumped the huge bellows, filled with silt and debris. The few remaining villagers left their homes, which soon burned or collapsed under the weight of neglect. Trees and bush grew up around the abandoned foundations, and the great Pocomoke forest reclaimed its depleted beds of ore.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from America. We've actually been back quite 2 weeks now. So we hope you've enjoyed the little trip. Did you? Would you like to go back to America, Paul?
Definitely.
Would you? You'd go back there again?
I would go back there again, definitely. I loved it.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you managed to get through the whole lot, and we hope you enjoyed it all.
It was brilliant.
And we appreciate everyone who's contributed to it.
And thanks to everyone who put us up, because it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Really were nice.
They were nice. So. Until the next time when Paul and I come over to America and wind you up a little bit more, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.